Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, we will talk about how to identify your strengths and weakness. So make sure to watch the full video. What are you good at? That's a question we all want to know about ourselves, as well as the question that occasionally comes after it. What aren't you good at? If you don't know how to answer those questions about yourself, keep reading. I'll help you come to a better knowledge of yourself. When I was 14, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had. My older brother had purchased a home gym, but there was one problem neatly expressed in 3 words: some assembly required. After a few hours of working together with very little to show for it, my brother huffed off, cursing under his breath, and leaving me alone with a sheet of assembly instructions. Little by little, I worked through each step until later that night. The gym stood ready for action. That day, I learned that I had an ability that my brother didn't have at the time, and it meant I had something of value to offer. If you're thinking about starting a business, identifying your strengths and your weaknesses isn't just an exercise to make you feel good or bad about yourself. It's a process that will allow you to understand how you can be most effective at what you do, and where you'll need to improve if you want to be successful. In this video, I'll help you identify your strengths and weaknesses. To do so, I'll walk you through creating some lists, talking to people you trust, taking a personality test, and trying new things. So before we go ahead, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel. 1. First, create 2 lists. Before you use any outside sources to help identify your strengths and weaknesses, I'd recommend that you spend about 30 minutes alone creating 2 lists. Your first list is going to be centered on your business or entrepreneurship goals. Call it something like skills needed to succeed. Don't worry about whether you've thought of every possible skill required for your business to succeed. This is meant to be an overview and is fairly general. Depending on your business, it might list things like an understanding of the market, business development, website development, or product expertise. Once you've completed your list, highlight the skills that you already have and put a star next to the ones you think you'll need to develop. Then set this list aside. You'll come back to it later. The next list you're going to create requires you to be completely honest about yourself. You can create 2 columns, one called strengths and the other called weaknesses. Depending on your personality, you'll find one of these columns a lot easier to fill out. I can only encourage you by suggesting that you do your best to be objective. Don't beat yourself up over what you think are major flaws, and don't overestimate how great your strengths are. Just write them down and move on. You also don't need to have a comprehensive list of 100 strengths and weaknesses. If you've included more than 10 to 15 items in each column, then you're probably starting to focus too much on strengths and weaknesses that aren't that significant. Examples of what you might add to this list range from aspects of your character, like calm under pressure or achievement-driven, to technical skills you may have, like HTML expertise or project management experience. The purpose of this list will be to start off with some general ideas that you have about yourself, and then get input from other sources to help you refine your list. 2. Talk to people you trust. The problem with using a list of strengths and weaknesses that only you've completed is that you have a biased opinion of yourself. Most people think too highly of themselves or too little of themselves. If you're like me, then you somehow manage to do both at the same time. We all need some kind of sounding board to help us gain clarity and get closer to the truth about ourselves. That's where other people come in handy. Try thinking of 3 to 5 people whose opinions you trust and who have had the chance to live or work with you for an extended period of time. You want people who have observed your behavior and character in a number of different situations. For most people, that group will include a significant other, perhaps a mentor or advisor, a best friend, one or more siblings, or your parent. The length of your relationships isn't the only thing to consider. The most important thing is whether or not you value or trust their opinion of you. Some friends and family members will be too biased, either think everything you do is amazing, or their opinions have been hurtful and destructive in the past. Carefully select people who have a good track record of being balanced and helpful, even when they've needed to tell you something that you didn't want to hear. Once you've got a group of people selected, reach out to them. You can go out to coffee with each of them, or simply send an email with some questions and ask for their honest feedback. When you reach out to them, make sure you give some context as to why you're asking for their opinion. Tell them that you want to start a business, and that in order to be successful, you're trying to take stock of your strengths and weaknesses. Ask them what it is about you that they think will contribute to your success. Then ask them to tell you the weaknesses you have that may cause you to fail. As you receive feedback, start adding more details to your to lists. You'll start to see that some of the strengths and weaknesses you listed are confirmed by those you trust, while others that you listed aren't as significant to the people who have spent time with you. 3. Take a personality test. In addition to the time you spent thinking about yourself and the opinions you've gathered from others, personality tests are another useful resource to help you identify strengths and weaknesses. 4. Try new things. One problem with identifying strengths and weaknesses comes when you have a lack of experience. In some cases, you might look at your list of weaknesses and notice that it mostly boils down to "I don't know, I've never tried." For instance, how do you know if you have an athletic or artistic ability if you've never tried to do something athletic or artistic? I'm a big believer in pushing yourself to grow by doing things you've never done before. To be honest, if you're reluctant to try new things, then here's your instant personality test result. Don't be an entrepreneur. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.